All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here, talking about real music in real time and some real problems with the real music industry. And of course, doing it for real people just like you right there and just like me right here. All right. So before I get to this depressing but honest video about the music industry, here is Grand and their album Second to None. So, in the midst of not really listening to new music because most of us of my age, apparently, we don't listen to new material all that much. I have decided this year, could be the last year I do it. I'm going to have to evaluate at the end, um, promoting new material that I think is pretty good. All right, that's all this is. Last year it was Voyage Inception. That was my number one album. You might see it behind me over the shoulder, sitting there. Deservedly so. Should be on the radio. Should be in commercials. It just should be. And if you like Journey and Steve Perry, I think you would enjoy that. And Grand is one of those bands that takes a lot of that type of sound and puts it into their own type of sound. So, in any event, this video, though, really talking about what's left of the music industry. And legendary producer, this is the title of the article, says there's no point in making world-class records anymore. Says the future is in live music. He says it doesn't matter how good the record is. So that's encouraging, right? Famous producer and engineer Max Norman pointed out that with the current state of the music industry, there's no real point in making world-class records. By the way, this article was sent to me by a rock star friend of mine who wanted to make a point, but also wanted to maybe validate some of the things I say here on this channel about how nobody cares. You know how nobody cares? Nobody cares about new material. Nobody cares if something is safe and effective. They're just going to go and take it and celebrate and tell everybody they did it. And then later on, when things aren't going so well as far as statistics and truth and facts, just stick your head in the sand and pretend you didn't do it and it didn't happen. Anyway, sorry for the tangent. I thought I was going to stick to the topic here, but apparently I just can't do that. During his career, Max Norman has worked with some of the biggest names in rock music. Most notably, he co-produced Ozzy Osbourne's debut album, Blizzard of Oz. So that's kind of a big deal. He did that after initially being hired to work as an engineer. His other works also include Y&T, Armored Saint, Lizzie Borden, Loudness, and many others. So definitely some hard rock credentials, Max Norman. So he kind of knows what he's talking about. So he was on a podcast and he says this: it's simply because no one will care anymore. That's why there's no point in making great records. So he has joined in with the nobody cares brigade, which I guess is part of what this channel does. Nobody cares that people are dropping dead. And nobody cares as to why they're dropping dead. The problem now is people can't make world-class records because there's 10,000 records a day or something like that coming out. That's what Norman says. And yeah, people produce their stuff on their own and they just upload it to whatever. And here's my album, and nobody cares. And then people like this go out and produce a really decent record. And his point is nobody cares about that. So between the onslaught of mediocrity and the fact that if you put something out, there is no, this is what I also say about this. There is no support system to help this band, right? There's none. I mean, is your local classic rock station or mainstream rock station going to play Grand? No, of course, they don't even know what that is. You walk in there, if there's any employees in the building, I mean, everything is automated. And you'd have to go to the headquarters in New York or Los Angeles and say, hey, Have you heard of this band? And then, they would be like, yeah, but we only play, because it's the yeah, but crowd that wins every argument. It's that, yeah, but. So, and they're controlling and they own everything, so they control it. So there's no point in trying to interrupt, Five Finger Death Punch or whatever it is they're playing that hour to bring in something that you could sing along to in the car, even if it's a little bit on the hard rock side, which Grand really isn't. But there are there are just too many bands that I've heard the last few years. I'm like, this should be on a rock station, but it won't be. It won't be. It's political. It's about selling advertising to a certain group of people. The famous demographic, I'm older than that. Famous is 25 to 54, I think it is. That's who they target. And so once you get over that, which I never understood the oldies format, which would be number one in every market when I was in my 20s and 30s. I'd be like, that oldies station has a 10 share and our station has a 4. And I'm thinking, we should just switch to oldies. But they're like, no, we're doing well in our crucial demographic, so we have to stick with this. And, but man, everybody was listening to the oldies station. It wasn't even close because it was good music, right? And where did oldies go? It went into the memory hole. Yeah, because everybody's way too old for that now, even though it would be a great education for the people who are still here to hear those songs. Am I going off on a tangent? Apparently I am. So anyway, let's get back to the topic. The problem now is people can't make world-class records because there are 10,000 records a day coming out. So nobody's making world-class records because nobody gives a bleep. That's a word that starts with an S and it ends in HIT. Because it doesn't matter how good the record is, only bleeping 2 people are going to listen to it anyway. And they're both related to you, says Max with a laugh. He's right. He's right. I know the few people I'm related to or friends with, the people who do care. That's what's unique about this channel. But I'm in my own little bubble, because once you get outside the bubble, by the way, this is a lesson for you political people as well who live in a bubble and believe everybody thinks like you on certain issues. It's very entertaining because when you put in a little bit of truth from outside the bubble, man, do these people go crazy. They're just like, no, you don't know what you're talking about. You didn't hear about the conspiracy? I'm like, yeah, there is a conspiracy. Definitely is a conspiracy. I just, mine is different. Mine is, I'm trying to get the truth out. That's my conspiracy. All right. Despite this, he isn't all that pessimistic about the future of music as a whole. In his opinion, making albums isn't worth it anymore. But live music offers a lot of opportunities. He says, I'm trying to think where the industry is going and where it's happening. There's a lot more activity in live music. And to me, it shows that there's a lot of longevity in live performance, whether it be a cover band. I used to talk about cover bands and tribute bands a few years ago. And they're like, people are saying to me, you got this YouTube channel and you're talking about cover bands and tribute bands, because I was friends with one tribute band in particular. And I think I helped them and they helped me a little bit. And that was a few years ago. And initially that was a really cool thing until the band kind of broke up. And then the friends I had in the band, I had to choose which friend I was going to side with. So that made it impossible. So needless to say, I don't promote that tribute band anymore. I do talk about Voyage quite a bit because Hugo, he's a good guy and we're on good terms. So that's, I don't know. Who knew, right? So you get in the middle of something and it splits. And so it tears you apart, just that's the moral of the story. But tribute bands, I was talking about this, Leonid and Friends. I used to talk about Leonid and Friends all the time because they are amazing and they're still out there. and they continue to expand their catalog, their repertoire of live performance. And that's a great example. I mean, when I saw that band perform down in Naples, I was blown away. And people showed up. Even though they're a bunch of Russians, people still showed up to see them. Anyway, they weren't promoting Vladimir Putin, so it's okay. So yeah, I agree with him. He talks about Kiss. Kiss now can become a cover band of itself and keep going. They don't want to pay anybody, so they're going to use computers. Whether that will work out or not, I don't know. Maybe AI can help them. Yeah, I think AI can actually improve upon the looks of Jane and Paul at this stage in their life. People will go. It's Kiss. It's going to have the Kiss brand stamped on it. And people still want the show. So I'm thinking it might actually be successful. He says maybe the future of music is live performance. And I'm thinking maybe I should just put a whole rig together. And what he's thinking of doing is going all around and recording performances from even smaller venues. There's a place here in Florida called the Funky Biscuit. It's on the East Coast. Fantastic place to see a show. Never been there, but I've watched live performances on YouTube because they basically record everything. And the sound quality is excellent. All of those videos could probably be made into albums if people really wanted to have that performance. You've got Nugs, which is out there, nugs.net. They record all of these jam bands and stoner type bands. And it's not my favorite kind of music, but I respect it and I will listen to it. Sometimes I get into it. It depends on what kind of mood I'm in, but I can listen to some of that stuff. And it's really good quality. I mean, it's album quality stuff. So what he's advocating here is that if you still like this kind of music, your best bet is to go to a live performance, and maybe the band will record the performance and make it available to you. Some of the lower level bands, I know there's a Grateful Dead tribute band, I think up in Tampa near where I live. Uncle John's Band, I think that's the name of it. And they record all their stuff. And I listened to a few of the recordings and I'm like, wow, these guys, number one, these guys are really good. And the recording quality is really high. Now, I don't know how many times you want to listen to Truckin', how many versions of that you want to have in your collection, but I think this is going to be the future of music. And he has certainly stumbled into something that I think is very true here. He says, intrinsically, those things can't be reproduced, meaning the way these live albums sound. On the record, it's all kind of sterilized and in the right place. And you knew what the song was. You didn't necessarily get the real character of the players until you went to see them live. So in conclusion, Max Norman says, so these actually are now becoming very special events, meaning concerts, because everybody's trying to computerize everything. So I see maybe there's a good opportunity to actually just go out, mic everyone up, press the record, just record the whole bleeping evening, have a few beers, do a quick mix the next day, and bang, put it out there. Yeah. I mean, it's got to be a lot less expensive. And a lot of these bands who get these recording contracts with labels like Frontiers, like this band here, I don't think they get a lot of support after that. I mean, they get to say, hey, look at our CD. We could sell our CD at gigs and so forth. But, they might be better off doing it themselves and bringing a guy like Max along to do the recording for maybe a small fee. It doesn't sound like it would be very difficult to do with today's technology. But again, another reason why recording new albums is not a winning proposition. So many people have said to me, I tried this the old-fashioned way. Then I put it out there myself. That was better, but it still got no traction. Nobody cared. And that's really the theme of the year 2024. Does anybody really care? Don't care about music. They don't care about people keeling over for no reason. We're living in some strange times. So I'm happy to be here during this. We're here for such a time as this. And if the music industry is going to continue, at least the rock music industry, this is probably where it's going to go. And so that's not as scary as it could be. It could be where all of this stuff goes away and nobody goes out there and performs anymore, but people are still hungry for live performances. And so, yeah, Max Norman has it right. And thanks to my rock star friend for sending this over to me, because it's really illustrative of the problems that we face in the music world. And it also kind of dovetails with the world in general and what people are thinking these days. Anyway, folks, thanks for watching. PayPal. No, you don't have to send me PayPal, but YouTube memberships and PayPal. I have a few folks who know how to send money through PayPal if they want to, but YouTube memberships and also Patreon. That's what I'm trying to think of. You know, I'm having another senior moment. Thank you for those folks who have really stepped up and kept this channel going. Thank you for watching these videos. I know sometimes they're painful and annoying, but I appreciate people who continue to watch. I am humbled by the support, and I will be here again. So tune in for what's coming, because, yeah, there's some good stuff coming. I'm working on another interview at some point, and it's a very special person. That's all I'm going to say. Hopefully that will happen. Not sure when, but hopefully in the next few months. But you'll have to keep in touch here and make sure you get notifications on new videos, and I will see you all soon.